All right, Shalom. First and foremost, I want to give all praises, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Bahasham, Yahweh Shai, Bahasham, Racha Kodash. Double honors to the elders and the apostles of Great Millstone, and peace and blessings to the elect. And today we're going to go into the book of Leviticus, the 17th chapter. And the Lord Yahweh spake unto Moses, saying, Speak unto Aaron and unto his sons, and unto all the children of Israel, and say unto them, This is the thing which the Lord Yahweh hath commanded, saying, When a man soever there be in of the house of Israel, when any man of the house of Israel, or whenever anybody of the house of Israel that killeth an ox or lamb or goat in the camp, or that killeth it out of the camp. Now, this killing of this animal is referring to more in a sacrificial sense, and you'll see why as we read on down. Okay. And bringeth it not unto the door of the tabernacle of the congregation, to offer an offering unto the Lord Yahweh before the tabernacle of the Lord, blood shall be imputed unto that man. He hath shed blood, and that man shall be cut off from among his people. So this will be considered basically like you'll be guilty of shedding blood if you go and basically do a sacrifice, right, of these animals without bringing it onto the tabernacle of the Lord as an offering unto the Lord. He will basically charge you with that blood, as it says, and that man shall be cut off from among his people. Now, as I've mentioned before, when you go into the word cut off, right, it's also context specific, because sometimes when you go into cut off, like it explicitly lets you know that, okay, they would be put to death, right? But in other times, it's sometimes almost left to divine judgment, right, where the Lord handles them. And in a good amount of cases, it ends up in them dying, but not in all cases, right? Sometimes the cut off is more like them being exiled from their people. Now, when we look into this word cut off over here, where are we at with it? It's karat or karath. And then it says here to cut down, cut off, eliminate, cut off, to be cut down, to be cut off, to take away, right? To permit, to perish, to cut off. And when we look into the Jacinius Hebrew Chaldee lexicon, there are some uses for it here. I think, where are we at? Down here. Yeah. So it says here, one example is figuratively to be cut off from one's country, i.e. to be driven into exile or to be expelled. And here we have the meaning in the sense of to be extirpated, destroyed, used of persons, right? And then it gives these different precepts here. It says, thus in the customary expression of the Mosaic law, quote unquote, that soul or that person shall be cut off from his people. Then these are various precepts that use that phrase or use the word in that sense. By this phrase is meant the punishment of death in general, without any definition of the manner. Never the punishment of exile. Now, this is, once again, like, these are different authors here, right? That have comprised this together. So the specific author here might be Jacinius, if that's the name, says that when it says cut off, it never implies, it says here, never the punishment of exile, as is supposed by J.D. Michaelis on the Mosaic law. So this individual here says this could refer to exile. Somebody else says, no, it's always death. But down here within the same text, it also mentions, right, goes into a few verses here, right? Compare Exodus 35:2 and Numbers 15:32. But then you have here, right, in some of the passages, it appears only to signify severed from the congregation of the Lord. Okay. So it's not always that, because when you read it, it just mentions cut off, right? Sometimes the Lord lets it be known that cut off means I'm going to kill them myself, like divine punishment, or the congregation is going to have to, take them, put them out, right? Or they're going to have to like exile them. So it's context. It can be context specific, okay, when you read it. But in any case, as it says here, the man shall be cut off from among his people. And you're going to see why the Lord is saying this. It says, to the end that the children of Israel may bring their sacrifices, which they offer in the open field, even that they may bring them unto the Lord. This is why the Lord has made this commandment here, right? Onto the door of the tabernacle of the congregation, onto the priest, and offer them for peace offerings unto the Lord, because for the peace offerings you would be able to eat of it, even the one who's offering it. And the priest shall sprinkle the blood upon the altar of the Lord at the door of the tabernacle of the congregation, and burn the fat for a sweet savor unto the Lord. And they shall no more offer their sacrifices unto devils. This is why the Lord made it a law that whenever you sacrifice any of these animals, it has to be unto the Lord. You got to bring it to the door of the tabernacle of the congregation. It didn't mean that, I have a visitor coming over. Let me prepare one of the kids or one of the goats and make some food. But wait, nope, I got to take that goat all the way to the door of the tabernacle of the congregation, offer it for an offering before I can get some meat off of that and then bring it to make dinner. That's not practical. Okay. And here the Lord tells you in what case he means this. So it says here, and they shall no more offer their sacrifices unto devils, after whom they have gone a whoring. So the Lord is saying here, I am making this law so that Israel will not end up sacrificing unto devils or idols, after whom they've gone a whoring. Okay, because guess what? They did it not long ago in the wilderness with the golden calf, for example. This shall be a statute forever unto them throughout their generations. And thou shalt say unto them, whatsoever man there be of the house of Israel, or of the strangers which sojourn among you, that offereth a burnt offering or sacrifice, and bringeth it not unto the door of the tabernacle of the congregation, to offer it unto the Lord, even that man shall be cut off from among his people. So you see how here it's reiterating the point from the beginning that the Lord was saying concerning this law, but now you can see what he means by killing of that animal, meaning if you offer it as an offering or a sacrifice, but you don't bring it to the tabernacle, right, the door of the tabernacle to offer it unto the Lord, then that's going to be a problem. That blood is going to be upon you. It says, and whatsoever man there be of the house of Israel, or of the strangers that sojourn among you, that eateth any manner of blood. So an Israelite foreigner that comes to dwell among you, or one that is already born in the land, if you are eating blood, I will set my face against that soul that eateth blood, and will cut him off from among his people. So here you can see the Lord has explicitly made it clear. He's going to cut this person off. Okay. And that would often result in some form of judgment from the Lord, likely resulting in death. For the life of the flesh is in the blood, and I have given it to you upon the altar to make an atonement for your souls. For it is the blood that maketh an atonement for the soul. So the Lord is saying here, the life of the creature is in its blood. That's why you're not supposed to eat the blood or anything like that. And he's saying, I gave you the blood, not for consumption, not for eating, but so that that portion can be to make an atonement for your souls. So you don't have to die for it. Okay, because it's actually the blood, for it is the blood itself that makes the atonement for the soul. It is the blood which contains the life thereof that that the Lord is saying he takes that in exchange on your behalf. So you shouldn't be out here eating that blood. No steak tartare. Therefore I said unto the children of Israel, no soul of you shall eat blood, neither shall any stranger that sojourneth among you eat blood. And whatsoever man there be of the children of Israel, or of the strangers that sojourn among you, which hunteth and catcheth any beast or fowl that may be eaten, so a clean animal, he shall even pour out the blood thereof and cover it with dust. So when you kill it, you're supposed to really open up the earth. You dig up the earth, you like slit its throat, so you drain out all the blood of the animal into the ground, and then you cover it up. For it is the life of all flesh. The blood of it is the life thereof. Therefore I said unto the children of Israel, ye shall eat the blood of no manner of flesh. So no circumstances should you be eating blood. For the life of all flesh is the blood thereof. Whosoever eateth it shall be cut off. And that's why this was such a problem when they told Saul, right, because of that fasting, that the people ate the animals with the blood in it, and he was like, no, they shouldn't do that. Just bring it and come and actually, cook it the right way. It says here, and every soul that eateth that which died of itself. So an animal that dies of itself, you didn't kill it, you weren't the cause of its death. Or that which was torn with beasts, so it's killed by some wild animal, whether it be one of your own country or a stranger, he shall both wash his clothes and bathe himself in water, and be unclean until the even. Then shall he be clean. And that's the law concerning eating an animal that died of itself or was killed by some wild animal. But if he wash them not, so if you don't wash your clothes, nor bathe his flesh, then he shall bear his iniquity. Bearing your iniquity means you're incurring, right? Because bear means to like carry or put upon your iniquity, which is that transgression. So if you don't do this, the cleansing, you're going to incur this transgression upon you now, making you guilty of this, and hence you will now be subject to whatever punishment the Lord will see fit as per this iniquity, because you didn't follow the protocol to make you clean of it. And that brings us to the end of the book of Leviticus, the 17th chapter. Lord willing, that was edifying to the elect. In closing, I want to give all praises, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Bahasham, Yahweh Shai, Bahasham, Rechak Kodash. And until next time, Shalom.